Hello, lovely people. It's been a couple of weeks. It's been a busy time of it. It is Friday afternoon. I'm getting this down before we enter the weekend and head into another 5-day lockdown, which is not great, but it's important that it's happening. I hope that you are well and you're safe wherever you are and whatever is happening in your neck of the woods with regards to government engaging with COVID restrictions. We've been through lockdown before. We're going to get out the other side of it, but it's a little bit of a kick in the nuts on a Friday afternoon. What's not a kick in the nuts though, as possibly the weirdest segue I think I've done, is this week has been in part recovering from the awesome workshop that VoiceUp ran last weekend that I was part of helping out with. I did voice direction for a couple of hours, an hour each day. So coaching participants through video game scripts and just giving them some questions to consider to help bring their performances to life. And it was a delight. It's always a delight directing folks. I love it. But it was an incredible weekend. I took a moment during the wrap up of everything just to remind folks that going back to regular everyday life can take a lot out of you coming out of a space like that, because it was I don't want to say surprisingly vulnerable space, but some of the conversations, we had two incredible guests. We had Sissy Jones and then Doug Cockle, and both of them just gave so much of themselves in terms of their time and their heart and their wisdom. And so some of the conversations got pretty real. And so coming out of that was a lot. But it was an incredible workshop weekend. I look forward to being involved in VoiceUp events in the future. Gemma Laurel, who is the maven, who is the spearhead of VoiceUp, just did an incredible job making it so easy for folks. It was a delight. It was a delight, and it's an experience I'm going to treasure for some time to come. I look forward to being able to share snippets of it with you all in the future. So some other stuff to share. First of all, as a reminder, Daily Boost is out there in the wild right now. If you have an Alexa device and you're thinking that you're feeling that you would like just a little bit of a perk up, especially as we're going into lockdown, folks, in Melbourne, but wherever you are, if you'd like a bit of a perk up, it's just a positive thought each day that can make things, that can hopefully lift your mood just a little bit. There'll be a link in this video and along with this post, so where you can actually launch Daily Boost directly. Now, one thing I don't think I've mentioned in the past is if you don't have an Alexa device, you can install the Alexa app on your Android or your, hopefully that's not going to come through. That's a Facebook Messenger notification. I don't think you can see it. But fingers crossed. You can install the Alexa app on an Android or an iOS device, and you can actually use Alexa skills directly from there. The experience, admittedly, is not as fluid if you were engaging with something where you would be doing a lot of talking, but for Daily Boost, I've tried it myself, and the workflows actually, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Because with Daily Boost, you interact with it once a day. Now, the other thing that I wanted to tell you about along those lines is there is a Kickstarter that is opening up soon, and I'm going to pop a link for that down with this video as well. It is for an app called Kinda World, which is by Lumi Interactive, same folks who made Body Posi a little while back, which was all about body positivity, a really important thing at the moment with folks wrestling with how they're engaging with their own bodies. Kinda World is, Kinda World is all about, it's all about giving you this gentle meditative space, and I highly recommend it. So check out that Kickstarter, click on the notify, and then you will get a notification when the Kickstarter launches. It's a project I definitely recommend supporting. I think the app is one of those things that is going to be really useful at the moment. Just something that engages with mindfulness and positivity and meditation. Super supportive. So what else is happening at the tavern this week? Because this is what's happening at the tavern. So it's not just the afterglow and coming out the other side of the workshop on the weekend, although again, that was a lot. I'm also at the moment doing some prototyping on a few different things that are really engaging me mentally. And I'm also started world building as well for one of the skills that I'm working on. So Tavern Blackjack is the next skill that will be coming out the door, but work on that has kind of been pushed to the side a little bit at the start of the year in order just to play with some things that are really lighting my brain on fire. World building, I've got to say, I find it surprisingly surprisingly enjoyable is the word I was searching for there. Enjoyable is what my brain went for. Yeah, I'm really digging the process. I'm reading through and working through the exercises in Jeff Vandermeer's Wonder Book. And world building is just one small part of what it engages with. It's also about fiction and discovering delight and a lot of other things along the lines with that as well. But I'm really enjoying starting to lay the struts of how do I want the universe that a skill sits in to behave? How do I want it to operate? Why does this work this way? What does that do for me narratively? Especially the texts that I work with, because I think there's let me find the words for this. I don't want to be self-deprecating, but writing and world building, comprehensive world building is not my core skill. It's not something that I've done as much of. And I think there is this real danger, especially if I think back to role-playing days, there's this real danger where when you're world building, you think, well, I've got to flesh out everything. How does every tiny detail work? But not everything is useful. It's kind of like when a video game renders. It only renders what you can see. It renders what it needs in order to provide a meaningful and believable experience. You turn away from something, essentially it doesn't really exist. And I really enjoy the texts that focus attention from a writing perspective and say, hey, you don't need to be thinking about everything. What you do need to be thinking about is what is the stuff that informs and powers the core experience, the feeling that you want your players to have. So I've been really enjoying that. Looking forward to sharing more video content down the track as well. I have some other exciting news to share as well. I'm now represented in the New Zealand market by Big Mouth Voices. I'm super excited to be joining their team. I look forward to working with them in the future and making really cool, exciting things together. It's an incredible agency, and I'm just listening to ice being poured out from the freezer outside. I don't know if you can hear it, but yeah, Sarah McLeod runs Big Mouth Voices, an incredible talent herself, and it's a really exciting agency to be attached to now. So yeah, that's exciting news to share for the end of the week. So heading into the weekend now, moving into a 5-day lockdown. So what's happening at the tavern next week? Going to be continuing on with that prototyping. I won't lie, the 5-day lockdown does put a real disruption in my plans for the week to come. So I'm going to try and be gentle with myself about that, because everyone's going to be at home now, and that creates a space where it can be difficult to concentrate on creative work. But I'm just going to focus on getting done what needs to be done, staying safe, staying well in the meantime. Oh, the other thing that's really going to power next week that I'm excited about is I got my new program today from my personal trainer, and it's got some really exciting challenges in it. I've been working with him for a few years now to build capacity, just to make sure that my body as well as my voice is capable for performance capture work. And the new program goes into some really delicious spaces when it comes to movement. So I'm looking forward to getting into that, and I'll probably start that Monday. So that's it from me for now. This has been a relatively long update. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for listening. I hope that you are safe. I hope that you are well. I hope that you have some things that can bring you joy at the moment, and that you have sanctuary and people that fill you up. I'll be back sometime next week to talk about how things are going there. And in the meantime, have a wonderful weekend.